Welcome back to season 4 of the Rebranded Teacher podcast. I am so excited. I can't even believe that I'm saying that. We've been doing this for quite a while and we're walking into year 4. So we've done this 2021, 2022, 2023, and we're here for another year. And I'm really excited about this brand new series that we've got going on this year. We're starting the year off with a bang and that we're doing some coaching calls. So I reached out to the TPT community, the Rebranded Teacher community, and asked them who needs help with their business goals in 2024? And talked to so many different TPT business owners who had a variety of goals for their TPT business, and we're walking through them together one by one here on the podcast. And we're starting this week with Chandra Henry. Chandra has the TPT store, Quintessential Achievers. She's absolutely incredible. I've known her for quite a while. She's part of Rebranded Teacher Academy and has been for quite some time. But one of her big goals for the 2024 year is to focus on driving traffic to her TPT store. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll also see a link right up here in this upper right-hand corner where you can go and you can watch that audit. But I'm really excited for this because in this new series, we're going to be looking at people's TPT stores. We're going to be answering the questions that they have and helping them meet their 2024 goals. And I know that someone listening today has the same goal as Chandra's year, and that is to drive traffic to your TPT products. So I cannot wait for you guys to meet Chandra. Hey, Chandra, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, Lauren. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited to be here talking to you. I've known you for quite a while. You've been a member of RTA. You've been part of small group coaching within RTA. So I'm pretty familiar with a lot of what you do and your store and everything like that. But I'm really excited to talk to you today and kind of dive into a newer, I don't want to say problem, but like a newer hurdle within your TPT business. So why don't you start by, even though I know a lot about you, why don't you start by telling everybody a little bit about your TPT journey so far, how long you've been selling, what your niche is.
Okay, so I started TPT in July when COVID hit, and I had to make a lot of my own resources for my online classes. So that's where I kind of started making it because I also had more time because we were at home. I didn't have travel and commuting and all that kind of things. And then my husband was like, you should just sell it on TPT. You're already making it. You should sell on TPT. And I was like, okay. And I thought, I'll just make $5, $6 a week, something to go buy Starbucks coffee like a lot of us, started. And then being the person I am, and then I said, okay, if I could make this much this month, next month I wanted to make higher and higher, and just setting that expectation higher and higher. And so that's why I'm kind of just want to keep going higher, I guess. So I've been in it, so this is like 3.5 years now. I'm a special education teacher, so my niche is for special ed teachers, and I started making my own stuff because I didn't find what I needed that my kids needed. So that's why I started making resources for my kids, and then hopefully that's how I can kind of stand out from the other special education TPT sellers.
Yeah, absolutely. And your stuff is really unique in that it's each resource has like diversified versions, like pre-built into the product and then broken down in such a way that most people wouldn't do it. Not only for gen ed, but most people don't even break it down that far for special education. So your resources are really there to meet a need in the market that exists, and you make fantastic high quality products. So I'm really excited to kind of talk to you today. So tell us a little bit about your goals for 2024 and what you feel is your biggest obstacle when it comes to meeting those goals.
Okay. So my goal is to drive more traffic to my store because I feel like once a teacher comes to a product that I've created or to my store, they like what I've made, but I'm trying to get people to come to my store. Like my biggest seller, I was looking at the data before I got on the call, and my highest paid product view is 4,318, which I think is really small, especially when you look at data and you want that statistically significant page views. And I feel like, and that's only a handful that's above 1,000 views. So I really want to push more products out there and get more traffic to my store. Is definitely one of my goals. And also the other one was to fill in the gaps. Like I have some months where I do really well in coming to November and December are my lowest months, and I know there's Thanksgiving break 1 week, 2 weeks in December for winter break, but I still want to keep my sales more consistent over each month.
Yeah, so drive traffic and build some more consistency with your income, which taking care of traffic driving will help to build more consistent income because you're able to consistently drive traffic to those resources that may not already have some traction in the search engine. So one of the things that I want to do real quick is I want to take a look at your store, because when we're talking about driving traffic, one of the first places that we want to look is we want to look at driving traffic from within TPT. We want to look at whether or not your products are search engine optimized. We kind of want to look at all of those things. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So this is your store, Quintessential Achievers. First of all, just like the branding is really great. And we kind of talked about this a little bit before we got on this call, but I knew walking into this that we're probably not going to have a lot of time to spend here at your store. Like this is probably going to be a pretty short audit. And the reason that I know that is because, number one, I've seen your products so many times, but number two, this summer you actually were part of an intensive profit boosting boot camp within RTA, a small group coaching. And we spent a lot of time on SEO and search engine optimizing products. But as you can see here, your resources, they look great. I mean, they look really professional. One of the first things that I do is I'm looking for, are the keywords that you're using, are they appropriate? Are they something that a buyer is going to type into the search engine? And you mentioned right before we hopped into this audit that the main purpose or the main goal that you have for 2024 is to drive traffic. So we said, okay, we're going to talk about driving traffic, but before we do that, we want to make sure that we're getting all the traffic that we can out of the TPT search engine. And it kind of makes it a little bit difficult when we're talking about a niche like special education, where we're talking about a smaller, although still a large group of teachers, but a smaller group of teachers. Naturally, the amount of traffic that there is that you're going to have organically is going to go down the more niche that you get, right? But we still want to make sure that we're taking full advantage of the TPT search engine. So immediately I'm seeing you're using search engine friendly keywords, WH questions, short story, task cards, reading comprehension, short stories, WH questions. Those are all keywords that I would expect to see. I think one of the things that I might think about doing is maybe going a little bit more broad in a portion of some of your products. And let's see what the competition is for, let's say I do short stories, special education activity, and I go just a little bit more broad. I can see that for some of your resources, they should be able to rank. In fact, look at there. There's one right there. There's one of your resources. So if you think about like, oh, you saw another one too. Was there another one up there? Oh, look at that right there. Perfect. So this is a really great example of when some of your resources start to get a little bit more traction, they start to get more reviews, maybe go in and switch up some of your search terms to go just a little bit broader. So I would venture to say that like this one right here says social story, SEL activities. I'm wondering like, why is this has fewer reviews than yours does? I'm wondering why. Yeah, it's like, why is that one ranking higher? Sometimes they're just like a weird, something weird or random will pop up in there. We don't want to necessarily let it discourage us, but sometimes that might be a good indicator that maybe this particular search term, it's not quite sure what we're looking for. So like short stories, activity for SPED. Maybe I try something like that. Let's see here. I'm definitely getting some different activities now. I'm not really seeing like this one doesn't have SPED, which is really interesting. This one doesn't have SPED. This one doesn't have SPED. So that tells me that probably it may not be a great search term. Like maybe there aren't very many people searching for that specific set of keywords, but just to kind of make sure that you're putting those keywords into your titles, the little bit more broad ones, because there's a space for it. So even using words like an activity versus maybe task cards or WH question, like what if I do WH question activity for SPED instead of WH question task cards and giving a specific activity, like there's a chance that you could rank for that. So just kind of doing some experimenting with that. And sometimes it's kind of tough because you don't necessarily, like you don't want to like roll the dice and like mess it up. But if you have an activity that you're like, this isn't getting a lot of views, let me just see what happens if I change it from task cards to activity and see what happens then a little bit lower risk. So maybe starting with something that you know, like, okay, well, this isn't getting a lot of traction on its own. Let's just go ahead and give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing you're using WH questions. I see it in your snippet. I see it in your title, short stories, task cards, reading comprehension. The only thing that I'm not seeing here is I'm not seeing special ed in this particular snippet. So you do want to make sure that every single keyword that you have handpicked to put inside of that title, that you're repeating it down inside of the snippet, because we know we picked those for a reason. And if you're anything like me, sometimes I'll go in and I'll change the title, like doing quick edit, and I'll be like, oh, I'm going to add this keyword in, or I'm going to adjust this title, but I don't always open it and fully edit it and go back in and look at the snippet.
Right.
So kind of going back and revisiting those things. Otherwise, you're tagging your standards, which is great. Your covers look amazing. For some of these, I know some of these are probably a little bit older. So I know that you know about using a value grab. So like right here, 5 boom card decks, that would be a value grab. That would be something that I would recommend putting here, like X number of task cards. Or here you've got print and digital as that, but you might even consider using some sort of value grab that's a little bit more geared towards like quantity over the quality of print and digital. So once upon a time, print and digital was a great value grab. And that's not to say that it's still not important today, but I feel like it's less important now than it was back, during the pandemic when people were teaching more remotely. You've got this one, 6 sets for the bundle. I mean, most of these are like really, really great. And I know you know all about the value grabs, but definitely going in and just double checking, beginning with those bestsellers, double checking some of those things. Otherwise, your store looks fantastic. So we took a look at your store. Everything looked great. Your covers were looking wonderful. Your resources looked great. You're using the appropriate keywords. One of the things that we talked about though, is we did talk about taking the keywords and making sure that the keywords that you've handpicked for your title, that you're using those inside of your snippet as well, because a lot of times we go in, we do a quick change real quick with the title, and then we forget to do that inside of the snippet. So going in, making sure they're all in there, kind of doing that quick check from time to time. I just went in this last week and actually did that in my store, where I was like, oh my goodness, like half the keywords that I put inside of my title are totally missing from my snippet. And sometimes you just kind of have a blind spot when you're working, and then you come back to and you're like, what was I thinking, right? And just going back in and really nailing those basics. We talked about kind of revisiting some of the older covers and making sure that as beautiful as they are, they have relevant value grabs on them. And if anyone listening wants to learn more about what we talked about, you can go and watch. But I want to talk now that we've talked about driving traffic from within TPT, let's talk about driving traffic from outside of TPT, because I know that's really going to be your main focus for 2024. Tell me, because in the pre-coaching call form that you filled out, questionnaire, you said, I've tried a lot of different things. Tell me what you've tried. Talk to me about that a little bit.
Okay, so I've tried like Instagram Reels, like highlighting the products and say, go to my bio link, and I've tried with free ones to try and get them to the store. I've done Facebook ads, and I've done email marketing as well.
Okay.
So those are the 3 things. Because I don't blog, so I don't have a blog. So it's mainly those 3.
So let's talk about those 3, because they're all great ways to drive traffic. With each one, can you tell me a little bit about the hiccup that you ran into that made you think like, okay, this is just not going the way that I want it to go?
Okay, so Instagram probably is my favorite thing to make, but it does not bring me any traffic. No one's buying anything. And it's also the most time consuming to make those videos. And then Facebook ads, I've used it to get like a lead magnet to get my email subscribers. And I've also used it to drive traffic to my store. But it's always been a paid product. And Lauren, I think you said one of the calls that I've had with you, you said don't do it for free products, like do it for paid products. So I've just started one this week on Monday with a paid product. So I'm going to see how that goes. But before that, it's always been a free product. And you're like, why do it on a free product? You won't get anything from. But I do have like a buy this bundle in the free products. Yeah. So I do have like an upsell in the free product. And then email marketing, I did a email collaboration with a group of kindergarten teachers or lower primary teachers or lower elementary teachers. And I think that was not a good idea for me because they weren't all special needs teachers, although some of my products can be used in kindergarten. But so I have this huge list of subscribers, but they're not opening the emails, anything like that. So I need to find a way to clean that out. So I'm doing another one now with just special ed teachers. I'm hoping this one would give me the subscribers that I really want to interact with and engage with. And hopefully that will lead to going to my store and buying some products, hopefully. So my emails have brought a handful of people to my store, because I've always have something that just get them back to my store, to my TPT store, but not necessarily sales. But I'm hoping with this new collab that I'm doing, it'll have the niche that I'm actually working with, and hopefully have better results with that one.
So let's talk about this for a minute. I think immediately right away, I want to say like probably your goal for 2024 should not be to master all three of those things, right? Let's pick one or two.
Yeah.
And you said Instagram is your least favorite. That's also my least favorite. So let's just chunk that one. Let's just pretend like it doesn't exist for right now, okay? And let's talk about email marketing and Facebook ads, because I think that those are two things that pair really, really nicely together. But I think that you hit the nail on the head when you're talking about you've got this large email list, and how many people are on your email list?
Right now it's 7,000, but only 3,000 are opening the emails, and then I think it's like 2.5% that actually click on any of the links I have in there.
Okay, so first of all, those numbers are not bad. Yeah. Okay, those are not bad numbers. I do like to aim closer for like a 50% open rate, but 3,000 out of 7,000, I mean, we're getting really close to there. So that's not bad. Okay. However, we obviously do want to clean that list. Like you said, your resources can be used for both, but you are trying to like optimize that list and make sure it's truly your ideal target audience. And it's not bringing in the sales that you want, right? So we're not getting the end goal that you want. So I think the very first thing that I would do is I would start some sort of series that's designed to prune your list. And I wouldn't just do one email. I would do multiple emails, maybe a series of 10 emails that are specifically geared toward teachers who teach special ed students or special ed teachers. I wouldn't totally nix the population of teachers who perhaps have a mixed classroom and could still really benefit from your resources. But I would start with that series of maybe 10 emails over the course of 10 weeks. And I would specifically make sure your subject lines are like, do you have special ed students? Or how many special ed students do you teach? Or something like that, that's really speaking directly to that target customer, or teaching sped students in the gen ed classroom, something like that. And then what we're gonna do is anybody who does not open that series of 10 emails, like they haven't opened any of those 10 emails, we're going to just say goodbye to those people. You can put them on a re-engagement sequence. You can put them like on a 5 email sequence where it's like, do you teach special ed? If so, click this button and it'll add you back in. Like you can kind of do that if you want to. But I would say 10 is plenty. You're still going to be able to be marketing those special ed resources. You're still going to be able to talk specifically to your audience of people, but we're not going to like beat around the bush. Like we only want them to open these emails if they have special ed students or interested in special ed products. And then after that, we're going to prune the list. So what that's going to do is it's going to kind of give you a little bit of a clean slate with the audience that you already have, with your existing audience. It's going to reestablish who you are, what you do, and that's going to kind of give you a good basis to add in these new people that you've got coming in, right? For this new collaboration. Mm-hmm. The second thing that it's going to do is it makes it really difficult to run, at least in my experience. I'm not a Facebook ads expert, but in my experience, it does make it really difficult to run a successful Facebook ad if I don't have an audience of people to pull from that I know specifically are my ideal customers. So I know that everybody on a specific list of people within my math list, like I know all of those math people, they are interested in math products, specifically 5th grade through Algebra 2. I have it further segmented into people who are just interested in middle school, just interested in high school, and just interested in 5th, 6th, right? So if I'm wanting to run a targeted Facebook ad to grow my 5th, 6th list, then I can pull specifically from that group of customers, that group of people that I know are interested in 5th, 6th, and I can tell Facebook to run a lookalike ad to those people, right? But if I have a mixture of people and I'm not sure who is special ed, who's gen ed, who's interested, who's not, it makes it a lot harder for my Facebook ads to be successful. So pruning that list, really getting it down to these are the people who are most active, most engaged on my email list. I know that these are my people. Now I can use those people to target on Facebook, because you're going to have the same issue if you run a lookalike audience from TPT, because like you said, your resources can be found by people who are Gen Ed, right? So you have no way of knowing whether or not that lookalike audience from your TPT pixel is going to be effective on Facebook ads. You also don't really know about Instagram, because there could be so many different people following you from Instagram and you're not really sure if they're all special ed. So having that on for your email list is a really, really nice basis for running those Facebook ads. So I think that that's where I'd start. I'd start with pruning that list down, adding in these new people. And I think if anybody's listening, I think that this is just a really great example of how participating with the wrong group of people to grow your email list isn't going to necessarily benefit you. Like just having 7,000 people on your email list is not going to make you have a successful TPT store. You actually have to fill it with the right people, and having 500 people that are special ed can be way more impactful than having 5,000 people who aren't, you know? So I think that you're going to see a big difference once you've collabed with these newer people. So I'm excited that you're doing that. And then once you've pruned that list, then moving on into Facebook ads. I like what you're doing, running Facebook ads to grow your email list. I've seen a lot of success with it. I really love it. And I would say that, yeah, if you're going to give away something for free, only give it away in exchange for an email address. Don't direct traffic to TPT and give them a free product, because chances are you get nothing out of it, because they may not follow your store. They may not, ever purchase anything from you. They may just download the freebie and then you've spent all this money, right? And then you have no way of tracking like whether or not it was successful, other than looking at the number of downloads. So if you're going to do a free product, always in exchange for an email. And if you are driving traffic to your TPT store, definitely always driving traffic to a paid product. So I'm going to be curious how that turns out for the paid product. Did you choose a seasonal item out of curiosity?
I did. Yeah, it was for my Halloween math products. Yes.
I love it. I love it.
It's going to be running for the next 2 weeks.
Perfect. Yeah. So I would say keep doing those two things. If you continue to go alternate back and forth, which is what I do, I alternate back and forth between Facebook ads for lead collection and Facebook ads for product sales. I usually like lead collection better. I really do, because I feel like I get more bang for my buck with that versus like running it to a paid product. I make a little bit of money, but it's not enough for me to be like, yeah, that was worth it. But at the end, if I'm like, oh, I spent $300 and I got 800 leads, I'm really happy with that, right? So yeah, I would continue to do those two things. And then the other thing is, tell me about how often you're emailing your list. Talk to me about what you're sending them on a regular basis.
Right now, I'm only sending an email once a month at the beginning of the month, and usually there is a free resource in the email as well, because when I first started it, when I didn't know better, I kind of had a lead magnet that says join my subscribe to my email, you get a freebie every month. So I'm trying to slowly phase that out and take it off my TOU pages and stuff like that. But so for now, I'm only doing it once a month, and it somehow always coincides like with a sale that's coming up or a freebie. But then with the freebie, I always have like a paid product in there as well. But
okay.
Yeah, I'm still learning email.
You're learning. So first of all, you're doing good because you're emailing them. So let's just say like, that's good. We're emailing them. We're not ignoring them. For sure, immediately tomorrow, like as soon as you get off the call, pick the day. What day of the week am I going to send them an email every single week? You're going to notice that your open rates are going to go up when you email them every week. A lot of times you would think that would be the opposite, that the more you email them, the less they're going to open. But the more you email them, the more they recognize you, the more they want to open your email. So you're going to notice that your open rates are going to go up after a couple of months for sure. Your unsubscribers are going to go up, which is good because you want them to leave, right? And then you're also going to notice that your conversion rates and your click-through rates for those paid products are going to go up, because in those 3 other emails that you're sending during the month, we're absolutely not putting a freebie in there. So that's part of the problem right now, is that you've got this paid product, but it's alongside of a free product. Well, if I walk into a store and you've got 2 booths sitting in front of me, one of them is the free sample booth. The other one is an infomercial kind of thing, right? It's the guy with the mop who's showing you how cool the mop is. And then there's this lady over
Yeah.
here who's handing out like free pizza samples. I'm absolutely going to the free pizza sample, right? Like that's the one that
Yeah.
I'm going to. I'm going to go grab that free pizza sample. And I'm going to walk past the guy with the mop as I'm eating my pizza. However, if I walk in and there's only one person that's calling for my attention, like, ma'am, come over here, come over here. Listen, I'm a sucker for a QVC type infomercial about a mop. Do I mop my own floor? No, I do not, like most of the time. But will I watch somebody else mop a floor? Yes, I will. And if I don't have anything else to distract me, I'll take a peek over at what he's doing. Like I'll absolutely take a look. And I think that that's what happens is when we get our newsletter and we're sending like, here's a freebie here, and here's something to think about here, and here's something to do over here, and oh, and here's this paid product. Even if we do a really great job with the sales pitch, even if our copy is spot on, all of that stuff is right there. We're still giving them something to distract themselves with that's not going to cost them a cent. So that's going to impact my sales. I hear you on like, be true to your word. If it's still on your paperwork, if it's still on that, a freebie every month, like continue to send that to them. There are other things that you can do. We actually talked about this inside of RTA. I don't know if you were there a few weeks ago, but I did send a recap out. So you probably saw it. If you promise that to your email list, a really great way to get out of that is to write a blog post. Now, I know you said you don't have a blog. It's okay. Create a Canva website. Put a little Canva website up, have a freebie for each month of the year. And we had somebody in RTA who promised a freebie for each week, like every single week was a freebie. Put up a blog post and if you're listening and you have a blog, put it on a blog and do a freebie for each month or a freebie for each week. Put it all in one blog post. You can even make this, if you have any amount of traffic that you're going to be driving to this, you can make this sponsored. You can make people pay you to put their freebie on your blog. And you can say like, I'm going to be periodically sending traffic to this. If you want to pay $5, $10, $15, $20, $25, $50, like depending on how much traffic you have, right? Per spot, there's going to be a call to action to go download your freebie and follow your store. And I'm going to be driving traffic to this periodically. So then all of a sudden you're getting paid to do the thing that you no longer want to do inside of your own business. The thing that's taking money away from your business is now something that's making you money and you're relieved of that obligation. So periodically you can say like, hey, if you want a freebie every month, go check out this blog post that I have over here, or go check out this Canva website, or go check out this post right here. You can see where I've broken it down and you can get one freebie for every single month of the year. There's some of my favorite freebies on TPT. Go check that out. So that's one way to kind of get yourself out of that while still fulfilling your obligation, because it is kind of hard if you have that out there and you've put something like that in every single, spot, like every flyer that's inside of all of your products. It kind of makes it a little bit tough, right? But that's one way that you can kind of get yourself out of that.
Good idea.
Yeah. Any other questions for me?
Yes. With the email, because I'm still at school, like weekly is kind of a lot for me at the moment. Can I just do it like twice a month?
This is your business. You can do it any way you want to. Twice a month is definitely better than once a month. I'm always going to tell people that emailing once a week is going to be at least what's best. I think if it were me, I would try to find a way to write your emails faster so that you can send 4 emails a month. And that could be going to ChatGPT and asking it to give you email prompts for a certain topic. Can you give me 10 email marketing ideas or 10 blog? You can even ask for blog post ideas and it'll kind of give you like maybe jumpstart that a little bit more in integrating special ed students or accommodating special ed students within a gen ed classroom. Take a look at the topics that it gives you and pick, 3 or 4 of those, write something really quick, link to a product, and then move on. It doesn't have to be anything like big. These don't have to be long emails. They can be really short. You can even have the other 2 emails out of the month just be something as simple as, have you seen these products? These have revolutionized the way that I've taught this particular skill in the classroom by doing A, B, C, and D. You can check them out here. I mean, something really simple. Doesn't have to be informational. It can just be a direct sales, really, really simple. Let yourself off the hook for that. And it can just be a direct call to action. But if you can only manage 2 a month is still better than 1 a month for sure.
Okay. All right. I guess I'm always hesitant, but time was a huge factor. But I'm always like, I don't want to bother the subscribers, I guess. But I don't know now that because I have like the TPT seller hat on. So I'm seeing those emails in a very different perspective, and just like not another email, delete kind of thing. And that could just be because now I know why they're doing it. I'm like, I'm not going to read this, I'm just like deleting those emails.
Well, that's me too.
But
It's hard because we look at those things and we put on that TPT seller hat and we kind of see those marketing emails a little bit differently.
mhm,
And that's exactly what I do.
yeah,
Delete, 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 delete. I'm not reading any of those. But one of the reasons that we do
yeah,
that, Chandra, is because we don't need any of their
mhm,
products. We're already making the
right,
products that we need.
mhm,
So it's not relevant to us. But that's not the same as not true for
yeah,
your audience. I mean, I can tell you, I've stopped driving traffic within the last like 3 weeks now. I've not driven a stitch of traffic to my TPT store via email. I'm driving it all to my Shopify store. And I can know exactly how much money that email marketing is making me. And I'm telling you, it is 1,000% worth it to be emailing them to the point where I'm like, I'm now emailing them twice a week. Like I'm
oh
going to
wow,
email them
okay,
more. You know what I mean? Like, and open rates are not decreasing, click through rates,
yeah,
sales are not decreasing, none of that. People are interested in what you have to say. They're interested in the products that you have to sell. And I think sometimes we have to kind of just see it through that different lens of I'm not interested in what this other TPT seller is selling because I'm already making the stuff that I love, right?
right,
So I'm not really interested in that. There's also a little bit, at least in my mind, when I'm opening it up, it's like there's a hesitancy to read some of that, especially if they're in the same niche as me, because I'm like, I don't want to like steal any of their ideas. I don't want to like be snooping. You kind of feel like Snoopy, but there's none of that apprehension with your actual customers. Like they're not thinking
okay.
about any of that stuff. Yeah. Well, Chandra, this has been so great to talk to you. I'm excited. You're going to have to get back with me in a few months and let me know how this goes. So prune the list,
Yes,
write a series of emails to
okay,
get them all pruned off. For sure, if you're doing one email a month, do not do 10 whole emails. Like that would take you 10 months to get that list pruned. Make that a holiday thing, a holiday project to get those out. But yeah, so send those out, get it pruned, see how things happen after
okay,
you have this new collaboration. Continue to do the Facebook ads,
mhm.
but with the refined, lookalike audience, and just consistently send them emails. I think you're going to see a really big difference in your traffic to TPT for sure.
I do have one question. With the pruning series, should I just do it with the current subscribers that I have and not include the ones that I'm getting through the new collab, since I know those are most likely special education teachers?
I would send it out to everyone because that's going to keep you from having to send two different emails to everyone. But one of the things that you can do is
Okay.
all these new subscribers that you're getting, they should have a specific tag when you import them. So that when you go to
Hmm.
prune your
Yeah.
list, you can say anyone who hasn't opened an email in the last 10 weeks or opened any of these last 10 emails or opened anything, like you can put it in a funnel, right? Anyone who hasn't opened any of these emails in the funnel, pull
Okay.
them off, except the people
Mhm.
who have this tag. So if they come
Okay.
in after you've started, that's assuming that they're coming in after you've started that 10 email series, right? That they're coming in maybe halfway through or something. If they've gone through
Yeah.
the entire thing and they haven't opened it, pull them off too because they're not active. Well, thank you so much, Chandra. I sure appreciate you being here. Where can listeners find you if they want to connect with you?
I'm on Instagram. That's probably where you'll find me most, Quintessential Achievers, or email me at quintessentialachievers@gmail.com.
Awesome. And we'll post a link down in the show notes in the description to that and to your TPT store as well. If anybody's interested in checking out your incredible special education resources, because they really are wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Chandra.
Thank you. Thank you, Lauren.
Thanks so much for being here, you guys. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and subscribe. And for sure, check out the other video where I am auditing Chandra's TPT store. And make sure that you're subscribed because you don't want to miss other episodes just like this, where we're talking with other TPT business owners who have big, audacious goals for the 2024 year and talking about how we can meet those goals. Thanks so much for being here, you guys. I will see you in the next video.